Just because bands get on stage and jam together doesn't mean everything about their relationship rocks. In fact, some of the biggest, greatest, most popular musical acts in the world spend just as much time squabbling among themselves as they do shredding solos and pounding on drums. Kiss. Currently, 2 original members of Kiss, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, are on the outs with the group. Frehley and Criss left in the early 80s, and apart from a brief nostalgia-fueled reunion in the late 90s and into 2000, have stayed away ever since. In response, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley have disparaged both of their estranged bandmates, with Stanley saying they don't deserve to be in the band, and that he didn't want to perform with them during their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Stanley went one step further in his 2014 autobiography, claiming that Frehley and Criss were anti-Semitic and that Frehley collected Nazi memorabilia. Frehley fired back in a 2014 Vice interview, saying that the anti-Semitic claims are bogus and that Paul and Gene hate him because he was a drug addict, though he's now been clean for years. Although they got along real well when entering the Hall of Fame, it looks like that was just as much of an act as wearing face paint and calling yourself Starchild. Blink-182. Blink-182 has a reputation as a fun band, but apparently there's some real turmoil behind the scenes which isn't likely to go away anytime soon. According to guitarist Tom DeLonge in a 2015 Facebook post, his relationship with Blink is poisoned. DeLonge left Blink in 2005 and returned in 2009, but by 2015 the old feelings of animosity were back. The band's, quote, squabbling in politics forced them to shelve plans for a new EP, which apparently devastated DeLonge. Drummer Travis Barker, meanwhile, told Rolling Stone that DeLonge was disrespectful and ungrateful, and wouldn't even tell the band he was leaving in person. Kings of Leon. They may not have been around as long as some of the other bands here, but Kings of Leon can apparently infight with the best of them. As reported by The Telegraph, most of the trouble stems from frontman Caleb Followill's drinking. In 2010, he claimed to be sober for the first 30 minutes of every day, and nothing more. According to Rolling Stone, Followill told an audience in 2011, "I'm going to go backstage and I'm going to vomit, I'm going to drink a beer, and I'm going to come back out and play 3 more songs." He managed everything on that list except the songs. The band canceled the rest of the tour. After a brief hiatus, the band was back with a new album in 2013. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses' epic problems began in the early 90s, but for a while, nobody knew for sure why Axl Rose and Slash hated each other so much. According to the band's old road manager, the feud can be boiled down to Michael Jackson, of all people. In an interview with Rolling Stone Brazil, Doug Goldstein revealed that Axl, who was allegedly molested as a child, hit the roof after Slash agreed to play guitar on Jackson's new song, Black or White. Axl and Slash only buried the hatchet recently, with a reunion tour that kicked off in 2016. Chances are these two aren't drinking beers together after shows, but as long as they can bang out Paradise City night after night, fans will happily pay. Aerosmith. Joe Perry and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith rock best when they're together, even though they're almost certainly happier apart. In his autobiography, Rocks, My Life in and Out of Aerosmith, Perry details several incidents where Tyler's antics have driven him up a wall. The basic issue, according to Perry, is that he and the band are in it for the music, while Tyler's in it for fame and women. Tyler, meanwhile, isn't a huge fan of Perry either. In his own autobiography, Does the Noise in My Head Bother You?, Tyler claims Perry is aloof and almost completely lacking in that sweet emotion. As he claims Perry once told him, "Just because we're in a band together doesn't mean we have to be friends." So basically, Perry and Tyler are 2 employees of the month who keep the company thriving, even though they avoid each other in the break room every day. Van Halen. Don't worry, there is no issue between Eddie and Alex Van Halen. They're brothers, best friends, and love each other. But Eddie and longtime lead singer David Lee Roth have more than a few issues. As Eddie told Billboard, Roth's perception of himself is different than who he is in reality. "We're not in our 20s anymore, we're in our 60s. Act like you're 60. So basically, Eddie sees Roth as a giant man-child. And embarrassing stunts like his camera hogging and mugging at the 1996 MTV Video Music Awards didn't help matters. Eddie has even worse things to say about ex-bassist Michael Anthony, who he claims can't play bass, saying, "Every note Mike ever played, I had to show him. He'd come over with a video camera and I'd have to show him how to play all the parts." Simon and Garfunkel. Since splitting in 1970, Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel have reunited a handful of times, and it never lasts because the two could barely stand each other. The tiffs began almost immediately when the pair recorded an album and Simon jetted off to England to record his own solo material instead of promoting the album. Then there was the time both men vetoed each other's suggestion for the 12th song on Bridge Over Troubled Water. The album was released with 11 songs. After that, the duo called it quits. Since then, clashes between the iconic duo have popped up over the years. For his part, Garfunkel has admitted to being open to recording a new album. Although when asked if it was going to happen, he couldn't resist a jab at Simon, saying, "You'll have to ask him. It takes two to tango. I like to tango, so count me in. You'll just have to bring a psychiatrist in as the third member. It doesn't sound like anyone's building a bridge over these troubled waters." Oasis. Few bands are defined by their squabbling more than Oasis. Brothers Liam and Noel Gallagher were seemingly always spatting with each other. As Noel told ABC in 2000, "It was just drunken, effing nonsense. It's just two brothers in a band who have strong opinions about how things within that band should be." Apparently, those drunken opinions got stronger and stronger until the band combusted entirely in 2009. As Noel described it during a 2011 press conference, Liam missed a gig because he was hungover. Soon, things escalated to fruit throwing.
On the way out, he picked up a plum and he threw it across the dressing room and it smashed against the wall.
The brothers have yet to make up by all accounts. At the 2010 Brit Awards, Liam Gallagher accepted Oasis's award for Best Album of the Last 30 Years and thanked everyone except Noel. He also keeps calling his brother a potato on Twitter, because why not? Hopefully, Mama Gallagher is used to family dinners without the entire family around. The Kinks. Oasis may have perfected sibling rivalry, but the Kinks did it first. Ray and Ray Davies have been at each other's throats for decades now, and by this point, it'll probably never get better. The two have been going at it since childhood. As Dave said in a Telegraph interview, "I think Ray has only been happy for 3 years of his life, the 3 before I was born." Years of back and forth arguments did their best to overshadow the band's amazing catalog of songs, until it killed the band in 1996. Over 20 years later, the band has yet to reform, and the brothers' relationship is stone cold at best. Thanks for watching. Click the grunge icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.